Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade is about to get a global release, and as such, I know people are going to be wondering who they should be pulling for, or more specifically, if we get the pre-registration rewards, who they should be re-rolling for with the redrawable SSR character guaranteed ticket. We need 10 million pre-registrations, guys, and this is the first day after the announcement. This is already how many we're at. We're at 419,000 day one. Looks pretty damn good. So hopefully we can get to 10 million because that redrawable ticket is big, and they haven't actually, at the time of recording this video, given us a date we have to have it done by. So that would be really hype if we can get that 10 million registration ticket and hit that mark and get the rerollable ticket, because trust me, that is huge. And if you are able to get the character you want, you are going to be sitting so pretty for this game. And I am about to tell you guys who is the best early game character to get, who is going to carry you through. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys a resource that I used myself when I was playing on the JP version of the game that I think is super helpful. So make sure you stick around for that. So starting off, let's talk about this boy Gojo here at the start. Gojo is freaking amazing. He cannot be damaged. He does so much damage. He's an insane damage dealer, like the best damage dealer early game before you get any of these other characters. All these characters you see down below, they are down here because they are going to release later. That is why I do not have them in the to be determined tier, because we're not going to be placing them just yet, because they will not be launching with the global release. As far as I know, we're going to be going in the same order that JP went in, so we'll actually know which characters are coming next. I think like initially we're going to get it's Megami first. It's Megami, and then I think we get Yuta right here. Yuta is very good. He is S tier. He's meta. He's absolutely insane. But eventually we'll be getting these characters. We'll talk about them more when they come out. But to talk about this Gojo, he is absolutely insane. He will carry you through early game content, but there is one caveat, one catch that makes him kind of not good and makes it hard to use him. And that one thing is, halfway through the battle, after I believe it is 7 turns if I remember right, after 7 turns into the battle, Gojo says peace and dips out on you, and it's like he's dead. You can no longer use him. It's the same as having a dead character. It's actually, it's so dumb. But for those 7 turns, you have the most absolutely broken character in the game there is. So for that reason, like a character that's untouchable and does massive damage for at least 7 turns, he goes into meta. Now, as the game continues, I think he's a character that even stays up in the upper ranks as these newer units come out. Like, he's still that good. Like, he will be good for a long time to come. So if you are going to re-roll for any particular character, I highly recommend re-rolling for this Gojo, and I said as much in the previous video. Next we have Itadori. Itadori is actually the very first, I think, SSR I got on my JP version of the game. I think, if I remember right, that was a while ago, right? But JP, I did not have a redrawable ticket, unfortunately, so I just had to take what I got and be happy with it. Now, I did get Gojo as well, which was hype, but this Itadori, I had to use him for a long time, and he was actually pretty dang decent. If I was to place Itadori, like, I would say he is a very good damage dealer, and I'm just going to say this now, nobody, not a single one of these other characters right here is on Gojo's level. So that means Itadori goes into A tier. He is a good damage dealer. He has his Black Flash, which can do insane damage if you get lucky, right? So I do think he can be a very good damage dealer. Even later on, he can still compete with some of the best of them. Like, he does fall in the tiers later. He does fall off compared to Gojo, but he's still decent. Next, we have this Megami right here. Yeah, I wish I could tell you that this Megami is good, but like, he's just not it. Like, he's just not a very good character. Okay, he doesn't do like great damage. He doesn't have great support. He's just not anything for the game. He's just okay. He's an okay character. If you get him, I mean, cool, but like, this Megami down here is way better. This Megami right here is an absolute beast. He is a nuker. He can nuke in one turn like an enemy, like insanely well. He is so good. This one down here, this one, he's just not it. Nobara, oh man, I almost want to say Nobara is like, she's almost on Gojo's tier. Actually, she might be Gojo's tier at the beginning of the game. She might actually, you know what? I said no one's on Gojo's tier, but I'm going to put her up here. The only catch is she falls off. She will fall off later compared to Gojo. Okay, but she is definitely meta. She is very good early on. When she gets her stacks of nails, when she hits her crits, she is insanely good. If you guys can get this character, she will also help carry you through content because the amount of damage she can do, she is just absolutely nutty, absolutely crazy. Also, we have the panda and I never remember his name, but speaking guy, right? They are decent, better than the Toto. The Toto's interesting. Nanami's interesting. I know a lot of people like these characters. Like, I've used them. For me, I just don't think they're all that, but we'll go ahead and place them anyways. So the reason I mentioned all 4 of these characters together is because I'm actually going to place them all into the same tier, where I think they're good characters, but I think the characters, these 3 above them, are just better. Like, they have good uses, they have decent damage, but they're just not as insane as these other characters above. Itadori can have really, really good damage, guys. Like, don't underestimate it, but he can die fairly easily. Nobara is a crit machine. She's absolutely broken. And then Gojo, of course, can't even be like damaged, and he does insane damage. Like, but these guys all right here I just feel like they're not nearly as good as these characters above. They don't put out the damage numbers that Itadori does. They don't put out the damage numbers that Nobara does. They also are not as tanky as Gojo. Like, Gojo is just freaking insane. They do have their uses. Like, Toto has his counter essentially, and that counter works fairly well. Like, I would say it's decent, but it could be better, right? So each of these characters has their own unique things. The characters are very, very well designed, don't get me wrong, but just none of them are quite on the level of these 3 above them. So I think B tier is fair. They are good characters. They're not bad characters to get. But once again, these top 2 characters are probably the characters you should be rolling for or trying to get. Now, last but not least, we have 3 SR characters that I have not placed yet. I wanted to talk a little bit about these ones because they can be very, very beneficial and very good to help your team. So SR characters are never going to necessarily do the most damage, but they can do really good support to allow your nukers to nuke even harder. So when you guys go to use this redrawable ticket, it guarantees you an SSR. I don't know if you'll be able to get more than one. I assume it's just one, right? But then you are also able to roll potentially for SRs along with that SSR. So it's actually very important that when you re-roll for one of these top SSRs here, you want to re-roll to get one of these SRs with them. All right, so the SRs you are going to specifically want to get with one of these 2 characters is Nanami here, who is a very, very good support, or the Principal, who is very, very good support. Both of these characters are very insane supports and allow your characters that do like nuking damage to do even more nuking damage. Okay, they are very, very good. As for this character right here, I'm not sure exactly where I want to place her. I feel like she does decent support and like stuff as well, but maybe in B tier. I think for now I'll put her in A, but that could change. She could fall off later and put her down towards B tier, right? But for right now, I think at the beginning of the game, I think she'll also be a decent character for you guys to get. And I'm assuming, I think these are all the characters. This is purely off memory, guys. I think these are all the characters that are there in the game at launch. I might be missing 1 or 2. I might have 1 or 2 here that release later. I don't know. I don't remember, so I apologize if I am wrong about any of that. This is just purely going off memory since the game launched on JP. And like, this doesn't help me a whole lot when it says like playable characters that are available, because we have different versions of characters and stuff like that. So I tried to figure out which characters the game originally launched with. I think these are the characters, and I think all these ones down below we didn't originally launch with. I think we got them later, if I remember correctly. So hopefully this is correct. Now, that last piece of information I wanted to share with you guys, all of this was based on my opinion here, but there is a website that the JP players have put together where they rank the characters based on popular opinion, which is really, really nice. I will link it in the description below as well, but I wanted to show you guys that really quickly. This is where the JP game is at. There, you are going to see far more characters here, characters that were not on this tier list, right? Because JP is ahead of global. And this is how JP would rank their characters and the order that they would put them in. These are going to be your strongest characters overall. And if we look up here, Gojo still in double S tier. He has not fallen off yet on JP. Nobara still in S plus tier. Very, very good. Look at Nanami, SR Nanami still there. So some of these characters are all here. This is not the same as the one you have right here, by the way, so keep that in mind. That is an SSR version. That is the SSR version that's down here. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to which ones are SR and SSRs, because that could get you mixed up as you're looking at this table. But yeah, here's the JP website. It is in Japanese. When you open it up, you will have to translate it to English, so keep that in mind when you guys go to this website. It will be linked in the description below. Hopefully it'll help you guys out, help you out with, it gives like, you know, different guides and things like that on how to get through the game and everything. It's actually a really nice website, and it's not too bad when you translate it to English. Some things are a little bit weird, but like you can work your way through it. So if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.